The headlines: hotels smarten up with tax breaks. The QEH rejects Trevor Eastmond's claims. And get ready, the Chinese are coming to ride. Welcome to Nation News for Tuesday, December the 22nd, 2015. Tourism Minister Richard Seeley says he's pleased that more than 30 hotels have been upgrading their properties as a result of the so-called Sandals concessions. He was speaking at the launch of the newly refurbished Yellowbird Hotel in St. Lawrence Gap.
We are a mature destination and much of our infrastructure needs to be rejuvenated. And it is quite heartening to see how many of our hotels are responding to that opportunity. And so this is a real joy because of what it represents. I understand from the hoteliers group that as many as 32 properties have done some form of refurbishment during the course of this year. And that is precisely what we want to see as a government. When we went at the Tourism Development Act and amended it so that we could see the cost of inputs into the sector lowered by removing the taxes, that was to make it more competitive, make it more realistic that our hoteliers, our modest hoteliers, our local hoteliers can invest in upgrading their offerings, and we're seeing it. And that's very encouraging, and we would like to see that can continue.
Yellowbird owner and manager Geeta Chatrani said they were forced to renovate after being constantly downgraded for tired rooms, even though the hotel received a high rating for service. The upgrades to 14 studios, the penthouse suite, public areas, and a new luggage room cost $2.5 million. The QEH has rejected claims by comedian Trevor Eastmond that the hospital is playing politics with his health. Mr. Eastmond requires double hip replacement surgery, but says he has not been able to get his medical records from the hospital. But QEH spokesperson Julie Carrington says Mr. Eastmond only needs to visit the hospital and pay for the report and jumpstart the process. She said this was communicated to the comedian when he visited the QEH last week. Family and friends of Independence Day shooting victim Dwayne Burgess have attended his funeral service at the St. Catherine Church in St. Philip. The father of four, an avid footballer, was shot and killed at the St. Philip Carnival, where he was providing security for a band. A teenager has been charged with murder. Friend Anderson Butcher paid tribute to Dwayne Burgess, who was affectionately known as Pet Monkey.
Dwayne's love for football continued to be honed, as he often ventured with his friend Shane Grant many evenings. His skills saw him compete in different competitions that were at times organized by his cousin Mark Gittins. Dwayne exhibited good sportsmanship and fostered team spirit in all who played with him. This was extremely evident on evenings when we played baseball. Dwayne was favored by all who were eager to have him on their team.
3 Barbadian charities have received close to $10,000 each, the proceeds of a charity promotion by Brighton Stokes. They are AC Graham Children's Development Center, the Barbados Red Cross, and the YWCA Breakfast Club. The Together Giving More promotion was tied to the sale of Anchor butter and cheese. The recent uproar over the illicit waste dumping has led to a warning that indiscriminate disposal practices could harm our groundwater. The CEO of the Water Authority, John Mwansa, says the rate of contamination depends on what is in the garbage and how quickly it breaks down.
So the fact that it is dumped on the ground would not immediately translate into contaminating the groundwater. For example, plastics would not contribute to until they'll take a long time to break down. But it's when you have things like chemicals that are thrown on the ground, which can be easily washed down by the rain, or other materials that will break down within a short time, then you have a potential to contaminate the groundwater.
Dr. Mwansa also made a special plea not to dump in gullies, as the rate of contamination there is faster. This was a scene in Bridgetown as customers bore down the capital city in this final week of Christmas shopping. Just 2 more days to go. Have you done yours yet? Swan Street was the busiest of all, if not much elbow room on the popular pedestrian thoroughfare. Among the must-have items for shoppers were clothing, jewelry, items for the home, and toys for the children. And as Barbadians prepare for the big day, they are being encouraged to use the roads with care. The president of the Road Safety Association, Charmaine Roland Bowen, is urging drivers not to drink and drive. She also made another appeal to government to move quickly on new legislation on drink driving. Up next is Haydn Gill with this week's commentary.
We are preparing to celebrate Christmas after what has been a tough year for many residents of Barbados. Job losses, higher taxes, new taxes, education cuts, and labor unrest were some of the highlights of 2015. But there was a lot to be thankful for. Stop for a moment and think about your individual successes, whether it has been at work, at school, or health-wise. Despite tough austerity measures, the country continues to hold its own. Although economic growth remains low, we have seen tourism rebound, and there seems to be some stimulus in the job market. So take a break on Christmas and Boxing Day. Enjoy the company of friends, family, and food. But remember to give thanks.
In sport, the next area of cooperation between Barbados and China will be in horse racing. 2 Chinese jockeys are coming here in the new year to ride at the Garrison for at least 6 months under a joint initiative between the Barbados Turf Club and the China Horse Club. Chen Li and Qin Yong will serve as apprentices and develop their skills as China seeks to grow its newly emerging thoroughbred industry. And finally, an 82-year-old British grandmother who was locked in a public bathroom for 4 days says she knitted a scarf to help pass the time. The door shut behind her and she was locked in the washroom, which was not open to the public. Luckily for her, she had a fresh ball of yarn and some mints. She slept on her coat and warmed her hands under the hand dryer when she got cold. Workmen discovered Granny, who was also finishing up her scarf. She lives alone and doesn't have a phone, so family didn't realize she was missing. Now she's thinking about getting one of those mobile things, as she put it. And that's Nation News for Tuesday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter.